What's up, everybody? Welcome to Narco Cop MMA, and this is the Lambo Plays podcast, episode 75, UFC Sao Paulo, Brazil. Two surprise guests today. Not one, but two. You guys get not just one, two fucking great guests. I will bring them in shortly here, but I always want to shout out my chat here. We had a week off. Fucking good week in the regional, so I'm going to take that, and I'm going to shout out my chat here. Mushroom is first in the house. What is up, man? Victor De Jesus. What's good, Narco? Guest and chat. Two guests, Victor. Lewis, what is up? Let's get that money. Yes, sir. Das Files, always in the house. Thank you for being here, my man. Shafiq, what is up, brother? Thank you for joining. Let's get those bags. Of course, man. Of course. Air Dog, what's up, bro? How you doing? Traps in the house. Stevertson in the house as well. Jesse Q, what is up? It's time, my friend. Luke Golding, best time of the week. Appreciate you, my man. St. Stephen is in the house. Justin Nelson. Craig Crowley, what is up, my man? Thank you for joining. Rem Dog in the house. Let's see who else here. Kristen, how you doing? Thank you for joining. Per usual, Bufo on the beat. We are live, my man. Absolutely. Arturo also in the house. EG says he lost 700 last week, but ready to make some bread this week. Let's make that bread. And 43 of you in here, hit the like down below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. You see the background is all white. I changed it up. I need to move everything. I have some new posters. I have some new shit going up. So with that being said, I will bring in my first guest of the week. It is Lou Betcha. What is up, my man? Thank you for joining. Are you ready for the shitty UFC Brazil card?
I tried to be deceptive by posting the comment in chat, man. Come on, man. Tried to be fun. Thank you for having me on. Like, my favorite show to be on. Always. Fourth time here. Can't believe it. Great card. And a lot of value in this card for a juice card, I believe. A lot of fun stuff going. So thanks again, Narco. Let's make that bread, bro.
Yeah, man. Thank you for joining. Kind of a late notice here. I hit him up yesterday and he came through for us. So Tim, again, last second, he was kind of busy. He said he couldn't make it. So we have to bring in some big guns, and the second big gun is here. It's Uncle Weezy. What is up, my man? Everybody's favorite uncle. Someone gave it off in the fucking chat today, but how you doing, Uncle Weezy? Are you ready for this UFC Brazil card?
I'm ready for it, man. You know, I think these fights are great. I don't have a ton of action on this card, but there are some interesting lines. I'm really glad that I was on the show this week because it got me to dig a little bit deeper into some of these props, and there's some stuff that's sticking out. So I'm looking forward to this card. There's some great fights, some great matchmaking, even with the two lost fights. I think this is going to be a fun card to watch, and if we make some money on it, even more fun.
Yeah, you know what's crazy is you said something there. It makes you dig a little deeper. And what's crazy is 2 weeks ago, my buddy Lucrative was on here, James, and he mentioned something very similar. He says, you know, I bet everything, I bet cards, but I don't dig as deep into props because I'm not really that big of a prop better, right? What did he do? He went ahead and gave a two-leg parlay and hit a 107-1, and everybody was fucking, having a blast. Guess who did it? Guess who didn't hit it? Me, because I had to fucking drive to Vegas, and I completely forgot about fucking betting it. And I always bet my guests Lambo parlays, and I fucking didn't bet it, and it was fucked up. Everybody was celebrating but me.
That's the breeding parlay.
What is it?
That's the breeding round 3 parlay.
That was the breed round 3, and there was another round.
You had Makayev sub, right?
Makayev sub, round 3. Well, he gave round 3 on both guys. It was 107. Some people played breed in round 3 and sub 3 and it was like 200 something to 1. It was insane. Man, I saw like $25 tickets for 5,000 and all types of shit going on. It was crazy. But yeah. Let's start off here. We lost 2 fights, which kind of sucks. I was looking forward to actually both of those fights. I like both of them, but they're gone now. So we will start with the first fight of the night. It is in the lightweight division. It is the newcomer the 8-1 Caio Fernandez versus the 16-7 Mark Jacasey. And we'll start off with Lou here. What plus 300 or better prop do you have for us here on this first fight of the night?
So I know everybody's steaming Diay just from a money line perspective, but I also know the premise of the show, and I know how I like to bet. And Fernandez, at least, and this is going to be a pattern on the show tonight. There's a lot of guys in this card that are very, very live round one. We lost Victor Hugo, which would have been another one that I would have given out, but I think Fernandez he's definitely going to be pressuring Diay. The one thing about Diay is he just on the feet doesn't seem like he likes being pressured anymore. He just wants to fight like a very low volume affair, get it to the ground, be okay. I do think that Diay wins this fight at a very high volume. But what does Diay do so often? Rushes in, makes mistakes, gets submitted. Fernandez, his grappling's okay. I don't think it's great, but this is more like a fade on Diay. His round one sub, Fernandez's round one sub, I see a plus 1,800 hanging out there, but I see plus 1,300 seems to be like the normal number. Give me plus 1,300 Fernandez round one sub.
All right, round one sub plus 1,300, starting off with a banger. Uncle, what do you have for us?
I don't really have in terms of when I was looking at potential Lambo plays for this fight, I was like, man, this is going to be one that's going to be difficult, because I agree with Lou in that Kawe, if this guy's going to get the job done probably in round one, he's really explosive. He's explosive on the feet. He's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt where if you take him down when you're still dry, he might land an arm bar or something like that. He's got a good submission game. He's very aggressive with that. And that last head kick knockout was quite spectacular. So we know that the guy's going to be good, but he's also a debuting fighter with only 8 professional fights. So if Diay does give him that vet lesson, does kind of work through round one, and then we've got the potential for, not only nerves in front of a live crowd. This is only this guy's 9th professional fight. So, fighting in front of the live crowd in Sao Paulo, you're making your UFC debut. This guy hasn't even had a Dana White's Contender Series fight yet. So, even though Diay isn't a finisher, this could be an adrenaline dump situation. This could be a nerves situation. This could just be somebody coming in and looking flat. So I kind of figure, like, if Diay does get a finish, it's probably late. How about Mark Diay, who's never attempted a submission in the UFC? We can lean towards those KO props. 3rd round KO, plus 2,000 on DraftKings. I like that, because even though I don't really think of Diay as a KO guy, I do think of Caio Fernandez as the type of guy who could potentially fade late in his UFC debut in front of a live crowd. So I think that's the play I'm going with this week.
Yeah, I mean, you hit it on the head. Like, listen, I know a lot of people are on Jacasey here, and I understand it. I see it. I personally don't have a side here. I didn't take it. I guess, when the line went down to 130, I should have probably taken a stab there. I didn't like it where it was sitting all week. It was like 170 area, and I didn't play it there. But the thing here that sticks out a lot is Mark Jacasey has cardio to go 3 rounds. We've seen it. He grapples, he can go 3 rounds easily, right? This guy, Caio Fernandez, like you mentioned something. First off, he doesn't have many fights. He has 9 fights total. We also have to mention that he's taken this fight on like 3 weeks notice, right? So he wasn't really getting prepared for a fight here. He took this fight on 3 weeks notice. The other thing that sticks out a lot with Caio is, you guys mentioned it, and Lou mentioned it as well, he's a front runner, guys. Like, this guy, he wants to get his guys out in the first round, and he has a lot of first round finishes to his credit. The problem is, when I watch him in the fight that he loses against Luan Sardinia, he has Sardinia hurt in round 1. He's landing ground and pound. He gets to full mount, I believe, at one point, and he's putting it on this guy Sardinia. Then he collapses in round 2 and round 3, like he's dead tired. And then he's the one surviving, because he was very hurt in round 3. If there was probably 30 more seconds, he might get finished there. And, when I watch this guy, I just feel like when you're a front runner like that and you're throwing everything in your kicks, you're going for crazy submissions, like you're bound to get tired. Now it's his UFC debut in front of these, probably the biggest crowd he's ever been in front of. Short notice, the guy already gasses. I know Jacasey's not a big finisher, but I don't think you have to be that big of a finisher when you're gassing out as bad as this guy is. So, round 2 is 10:50. Maybe it doesn't happen in round 2, but this guy does slow down, and Sardinia was putting it on him in round 2. Round 3 is 1400 just in general. I don't want to even mess around with sub or KO just because, we've seen it over and over. When you're tired, Vieira gets subbed, right? I mean, guys that are high level jiu-jitsu guys are getting subbed. So the numbers are already very large. I do think that Jacasey is very live to get a finish here later. It's going to be hairy for him probably early, but man, as this fight goes on, you're going to have to like Jacasey here. And I also think this is a great, that's another reason why I didn't bet Jacasey's, because I think he's a better live bet spot than he is pre. I might be wrong, but I think a live bet spot here on Jacasey might be better because the other guy is just a pure front runner. So, yeah, I like the round 2, round 3 here on the Jacasey side.
Can I ask you a question before we move on?
Yeah.
Under 2.5 is plus money. It's like plus 135.
Yeah, the only thing that worries me is we have seen Jacasey just want to lay and pray.
Yeah,
doesn't pass guard, doesn't do anything but just lay and pray. And I kind of stay away from guys to play under against guys like that. Like he did it against Radzhabov. He did it against Borishev.
Lava, yeah.
You just see it over and over with this guy. So the thing that I also think here is if he gets it to the ground, I don't think he's going to want to fuck around and try to pass against this guy because he's going to get caught maybe. So he's just going to play it safe, lay in guard, throw a couple of punches, and that's what scares me about the under. So that's why I don't really have a take, but I can see it finishing for sure. Moving on, fight number 2. It is in the strawweight division. It is the 10-3 Montserrat Conejo Ruiz versus the 9-0 Eduardo Mora. Our favorite uncle's turn here. What do you got here on this banger of a strawweight fight?
Eduardo Mora, Narco Cop, can I interest you in 6.5 units to win 1 on the debutant Eduardo Mora right now, minus 650? Can I interest you in that, huh? Dude, you know what's a Lambo play? How about just the Ruiz money line? How many times, and look, endometriosis and she's on her period, Eduardo Mora, those were the excuses that she used for missing weight by 3.5 pounds today. Now, she's way bigger than Ruiz. We all know that. But I'll just point out one fight to you. Jacqueline Amorim versus Sam Hughes. She's making her debut in the Apex, not in front of a live crowd. One of the best. Look, if Amorim fought Mora, Amorim would submit her in the first round or the second round. She's that much better than her. She went out there and just had a massive adrenaline dump. Now you got a girl who had a bad weight cut. She's fighting in front of a live crowd, making her debut. Her pro career has lasted 18 months. Eduardo Mora has only been a pro for 1.5 years, and she's crushing cans, you guys. So there's a ton that we don't know about her. Her striking could be complete garbage. We don't know. So, look, I get it. Mora's probably going to win this fight. She should win this fight. She's way bigger. She's younger. She's stronger. She's probably even the better wrestler. Definitely has the way better Brazilian jiu-jitsu game. No question about that. But with all the things that could go wrong with a minus 650 women's favorite making their debut in front of a very large crowd who admittedly was on her period and had endometriosis problems, why not just say that the Lambo play is the Ruiz money line and hope that she just falls apart like a Chinese motorcycle after 5 minutes? It could happen. I'm not saying I'm betting it, but it's a Lambo play.
Yeah, I mean, I totally understand your play. I mean, you're fading a debutante that missed weight that I didn't even know that, by the way, that this period thing, that's the excuse she gave.
That was the excuse, yeah.
I feel like every women's fight that misses weight, she uses that excuse. I just hear it popping up over and over again. But I think the weight here kind of sucks for Ruiz in the sense that this girl didn't kill herself to make weight, and she's much bigger. Looking at face-offs, it's like, holy shit, she's so much bigger than Ruiz. The one thing that sticks out with Mora is, you know, when she gets on top, she does throw a lot of ground and pound.
Yeah.
She does have 3 knockout victories. And what have we seen from Ruiz is that she really doesn't like to get submitted, dude. Like, she literally doesn't like to get subbed. She will eat shots all day long, but do not sub her, right? And she is competent on the ground as well. I mean, she's not like, I think she's a brown belt, if I'm not mistaken. So, I'm kind of leaning to KO here on Mora. It's like 285. It's a little under. It opened 450 on Bet Online. I bet that. Thought it was a little too big just because of how tough Ruiz is. I will say that it's kind of important to say, to be honest. This girl, Mora, I don't know about her gas tank, to be honest. Like, she finishes everybody early, and the one girl she didn't finish early, she won by split decision, and the girl's 12-17. It's a little shaky. There's no footage of the fight, but 12-17 girl, and you go to split decision against her. And I know that girl sat on my ear. She's a BJJ girl. It's a little concerning if this fight goes past like 7.5 minutes. What happens? You know, you mentioned, again, first fight in the UFC. She's missed weight, her period, or whatever the fuck it is. And we don't really know about this girl's cardio, to be honest. Like, if Ruiz survives early, could be shaky. But I'm going to give the KO prop. I just think the size is going to give Ruiz a lot of issues here. So, Lou, what do you got for us here?
Yeah, channeling my friend Mike's MMA picks. I'm not qualified to talk about women's periods on the program, so I'm just gonna really keep this simple. I hated the weight miss. I think the one big narrative is like, oh man, Ruiz she's got a head and arm throws. Well, I don't know how the hell she would even try that. Like, she's so undersized here. Like, I don't know how she's even gonna get an opportunity to do it. I kind of think Mora just takes her down and submits her. I'm worried about like the debut stunt, or maybe she just lights on her, but like round 1 submissions plus 350, 400 in some spots. I'm not betting it. This is just a prop for the show. I don't want anything to do with this fight. I don't bet minus 600 favorites as a general rule, unless their name is Bo Nickel. But like, I don't want any part of this. And the weight miss was just, it's irresponsible. It's crappy. And like, I saw some people on Twitter. I just want to make a point to this. 3.5 pound weight miss, or like, it's only 3.5 pounds. At 115, this is like I don't think people understand what a massive advantage this is. Like 155 and 115, this is like just an absurd advantage. So I don't want any part of it. It's irresponsible. Yeah, in this economy, minus 600 is the worst. So I think Mora wins. I was with Wheezy initially early in the week when he liked the overs. Now I kind of just don't want any part of this. Like, so I'll say round 1 submission. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
And can I jump in for just a sec? Yeah, sure. I bet the over 2.5 at plus 145 way earlier in the week, and I mean, frankly, I hate it now. But I'm going to ride the bet out because maybe Mora won't be as good as she normally would be if the weight cut had went well. But also, I like the over 1.5 takedowns for Mora on Underdog and Prize Picks. You know, Montserrat doesn't have great takedown defense. We saw that in the Amarim fight. So I think, and we know what Mora's going to do. She's going to grapple. So I like the over 1.5 takedowns there. But
that's a great prop. 1.5. Wow, what is it on like Bet Online? It can't be that low.
I didn't see it on Bet Online yet, but
I would imagine
I'll look it up right now.
I would imagine it's like 2.5 or
over 1.5 is like 140s range.
Is it?
Yeah.
On
across the board. Just I'm looking at fight odds.
I got over 2 takedowns now. They've switched it to the total of 2 for Eduardo Mora, and it's minus 115.
That kind of sucks because that's like now you need 3.
Yeah.
That's a little sneaky, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, the 1.5 seems like it's gonna hit. Let's move on here. Fight number 3. It is in the strawweight division. It is the 15-13 Angela Hill versus the 8-2 Denise Gomes, and I'll kick this one off here. I have a little bit, I guess you can call it a sneaky play. I'm not sure. I haven't seen any people on it. I like Denise Gomes by submission here, plus 1,700. And here's basically why I like it. First off, I do think Denise Gomes is a kind of a bad matchup. I've seen a lot of people on Angela Hill. I get the experience. I get that she's, maybe the cleaner striker. She has better wrestling. I've heard that too. I don't think she's the better submission grappler. That's for sure, in my opinion. The other thing I've seen is Denise Gomes is not going to give Angela Hill the fight she wants. Angela Hill wants to stay on the outside and kickbox you. That's what Emily Ducote gave her, and she pieced apart Emily Ducote. And I know a lot of people were on Ducote there, and that's the fight Angela Hill strives on. Like, give her distance, let her kick you, let her throw her volume, and she's probably going to beat you. Denise Gomes just is not that person. Like, she's not going to give you distance. She's going to pressure. She's going to throw big shots. She might clinch here and there. I think she's very dangerous on the ground, man. She's always going for submissions. I know people going back to Loma. Loma took her down 3, 4, 5 times. Okay. She did a couple of judo tosses, stuff like that. Listen, it was her first fight in the UFC. We talked about jitters. She made mistakes in the grappling there, but she also had Loma in some very, very bad positions, like the arm triangle. She almost submitted her there. This girl goes for a lot of fucking submissions when she's on the ground. And I just feel like this fight is going to get to the ground one way or another, because I think the pressure, the power is going to maybe force Angela Hill to try to grapple here. And Angela Hill has been subbed before, guys. I mean, let's not make Angela Hill like she's some girl that cannot be subbed. Listen, the ever so dangerous Ronda Marcos subbed this girl, guys. And I would, go on a limb and say Denise Gomes has better BJJ than Ronda Marcos has. Also think 38-year-old Angela Hill is kind of getting there, man. Like, she did not look good against Mackenzie Dern. You cannot lose in striking 2-1 at distance to Mackenzie Dern. Like, Mackenzie Dern's not a striker. How the hell did she outland you 2-1, Angela Hill? Like, she rocked her. She dropped her. I mean, does Mackenzie Dern hit harder than Denise Gomes does? I don't think so. So I'm not basing this fight based on what happened with Denise Gomes knocking out Harrogate right away or killing Bruna Brazil. I just think the matchup, the pressure, the toughness, I just favor all of that, honestly, on Denise Gomes. I don't, people are making a big deal about that Loma fight. Again, it's her first UFC fight. Jitters. She made mistakes. And she's also only 23 years old. Who of these two girls is rapidly improving? I would go on a venture and say it's Denise Gomes. So Denise Gomes' submission is 1,700. I just think this fight is going to end up on the ground. And I do think she's going to have some good spots, man. She's a dangerous grappler. I'm telling you guys, she's very, very dangerous on the ground. So, and she's, her girlfriend is a very high level BJJ girl. So, Lou, what do you got for us?
I mean, I don't know what more I could add to that. I also like the Gomes submission, and I bet Hill earlier in the week when I saw the line moving, and I immediately kind of regretted it. I just want to expand on one point, and we'll pass to Easy, because I love the Gomes sub here. I think that we saw this with Natalia Silva when she came back. There's so much we don't know about young, especially women's MMA fighters. Their growth is exponential, and we do our best as cappers to figure out matchups. But they add new wrinkles, and it's so quick, and we just can't figure it out. And I think Gomes is the Loma. By the way, give Loma credit too. Loma is leveling up too. Loma, I think, is improving as a fighter too. I think Gomes, she's not just like a power puncher. I think she's well-rounded. And Hill at this point, let's be honest, she's a finished product. We know what we're getting. I really wanted to come on the show and tell you Gomes split decision, because if Angie Hill can't win a split decision in America, how the hell is she winning one in Brazil? But I really do think Gomes just wears and tears on her. And like, I know you could talk about Hill's toughness, but it all goes at some point, man, especially at 38, 39 years old. So I'm with you. Gomes sub, dude.
Yeah, here's the other thing. Like MMA Matt says, oh, well, Angela Hill beat Loma, and Loma easily beat Gomes. Why is this girl favored?
Different Loma.
Well, Loma was actually fairly new to MMA when she fucking fought Angela Hill. It was her second UFC fight. She's very green. She did not have much grappling at all at that point. We could see from fight to fight, Loma's fucking grappling is getting a lot fucking better.
She looked great against Gomes. She looked
and guess
great.
What? She fought Gomes in her, 6th or 7th UFC fight, which is a huge difference, man. That's like 3 or 4 years of leveling up in grappling or whatever the fuck she was doing. She's a much different fighter. So yeah, I mean, I just wanted to make that point. Like, MMA math does not work. Don't try to do it. It's gonna cost you a lot of money, honestly, at the end of the day. Uncle Weezy, what do you got for? I think Uncle Weezy's frozen in space here.
I think he died. Where is he?
He's frozen. Uncle Weezy is absolutely frozen, ladies and gentlemen.
Mike, if I've learned anything, the best cappers have the
worst there he
internet.
is.
They have the worst internet, the best cappers.
Oh, yeah? Uncle Weezy?
Yeah, it just went down and came right back up. So here I am. I'm ready to go. I was ready to jump in, and I was like, wait, what the hell just happened? Okay. But Gomes by decision is what I got here. I don't think she's going to sub Hill, but that would be the way that she would finish her, in my opinion. I do think that my initial read was Hill by decision here. The MMA math thing. The fact that Hill throws so much volume on the feet. The fact that she feints so much, she's so busy, so much more experienced, has fought the way better brand of competition, more takedown upside, more grappling upside even, I would say. But the power of Gomes, that's one thing that you can lose 3.5, 4 minutes of a round, land one big shot, change the entire round, and win the round. And Angela Hill's very durable, very, very durable. You're probably not getting her out of there via knockout. Look at the list of names that she's fought in the UFC. But Angela Hill in the UFC is 8-11 in decisions, right? So she's very durable. She's had 23 UFC fights, and 19 of them have went to decision. And you look at the decision props, Angie Hill by decision is like plus 140. Denise Gomes by decision is plus 220. In Brazil, the younger fighter, and I mean, like, I think Mina said it in the chat. I mean, Angela Hill loves getting robbed. She's won some fights that are marked as losses. The Watterson fight, I even thought she beat Lemos, but Denise Gomes has just got ridiculous power, really good low leg kicks, and she's absolutely tough. She's got that. She really does have that dog in her. So I actually think that, even though the pick is Angie Hill by decision, how could you pass on Gomes by decision at plus 220 when Hill by decision is something like plus 140? That doesn't make a lot of sense in Brazil with the ages of these two ladies, and with Gomes probably be the one that's going to be landing the bigger shots here.
Yeah, I mean, I think split decision is like almost a must play here. It's not a bad. It's
plus 800. Gomes.
No, just in general, it's 400. I think that's real. I thought it was going to be 350. Usually it's 350 on these women's, close fights, but 400. I think there's some meat on the bone there. Honestly, I think this is a close fight either way, but I also think the submission's live, man. I really do. I think this line, to line Gomes submission similar to Hill's, I think that's crazy. Does Hill even have a single submission in her career?
Let me tell you, I can.
I'm serious. I don't know offhand, but I don't remember. Not in the UFC. At least.
0. She is 0-2 to the submission in her career in 28 pro fights.
Even pre-UFC. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
come on. I mean, how could these girls be like, has she even fucking attempted a submission in the UFC? Let's look at that.
Let me tell you that. Oh, actually, yes.
She has.
She attempts 0.09 submissions per 15 minutes.
That's one.
So that's about one every 11 fights.
I wonder if it was the Yoder fight by like accident in a grappling exchange.
Holy fuck! Yeah.
Like just look.
There were 2 Yoder fights.
So it's one of them. She like maybe she had like a guillotine to stand up. Like
I'll look like an idiot when she subs her, but man, I mean I don't see. I see. She's attempted 2 subs in 19 UFC fights.
She's got 23 UFC fights,
dude.
Or
23, whatever. 2 subs, guys. Attempts. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's happening, but I don't understand why the price is the same for these 2 girls. Let's move on. Fight number 4. It is in the light heavyweight division. It is the 9-0 Vitor Petrino versus the 15-5 Modestas Boskus. Lubecha, you're up, my friend.
There are 2 people I respect immensely. One is on this show that are on the Modestas side, and I understand it. I think there's value there. I just can't do it, man. I can't, and I get why. I think it's more of a fade on Petrino. I don't know how you guys, I don't know your reasons. It's not my business. I can't. And like, if I lose money this way, that's fine. I'm gonna play. This is a Corolla play. It's Petrino by decision. It's like plus 270. I'll just say the one thing I liked about Petrino, because I don't know what his ceiling is in the UFC. I don't think he's some amazing submission grappler. I think his power is like kind of overrated. Like, yeah, like Turkali like took some shots, but like, and Bellato stinks. But I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, he was getting outstruck by Pacquiao. I don't think his striking is like awesome. But the one thing I really liked is that when he was getting in grappling exchanges, when he was getting top time against Pacquiao, he's throwing several punches just to like keep active, but he was watching his coaches. Like, it's very clear he's trying to like take the grappling realm seriously. He's listening to his coaches. He's moving. He's never giving up bad positions. That he was actively like, everybody that had in a distance in that fight was like, what the fuck, dude? Like, finish him. And he was like, no, he's working through progressions. Like, I love to see that. Because it shows that he's coachable. It also shows this is a guy who like is taking his career seriously. We rip on people that miss weight. This is a guy who's like, look, I really want to get this part of my game. So I like that. There's a narrative side. I know George is in the chat. There's a narrative side, like, why is this match made? Maybe his management team was like, look, this is the perfect kind of guy, like a good name that we can win. I think Petrino can just win minutes on the ground. I think on the feet, it might get hairy. Like, again, he struggled against Pacquiao on the feet. Like, he was not some world beater. He's a moment winner, not a minute winner on the feet. I just think if he gets takedowns and can try to win minutes, he probably wins by decision. It's plus 250, plus 260. Corolla play, but like a high-end Corolla.
Yeah, no, that's a used Lambo.
Okay, there you go. Used a 2016 Lambo driven by Nick Nolte.
There you go. Uncle Weezy, what do you got for us? You made Uncle Weezy laugh.
So I'm going with Petrino to shave this guy's ass. And it's not just, I think he can win a decision, Petrino, but I also think that he can finish Modestas. Modestas has been finished in 4 of his 5 professional losses. Petrino hits very hard, but this is really about a volume thing for me. Vitor is attempting 13.87 distance strike attempts per minute spent at distance when Modestas attempts 9.23. Vitor Petrino is attempting 7.84 takedowns per 15 minutes when Modestas Boskus attempts 0.25. I think that Petrino is going to be the guy who's doing more, but I think he's the guy who hits a lot harder. And I just think that Modestas going all the way from Lithuania to Brazil to take this fight against a 26-year-old Vitor Petrino. And just think about this. If you watch that regional scene footage on Vitor Petrino and then look at where he's at now, he's showing new wrinkles to his game. This kid is only 26. He just went that fight against Turkali, and I know Turkali's not great, right? But That fight against Turkalj had about 9 reverses. It had about 13 takedown attempts in it. He was landing massive shots. And let me tell you something. You want to see something that'll gas a young fighter out? Try hitting your opponent with your best shot about 15 times, and the guy just eats it like flapjacks and keeps coming forward. That will absolutely exhaust you. Vitor Petrino has gone 28.7 minutes, hard minutes, hasn't even looked tired in the UFC yet. That's grappling and striking. I think he's a little bit better than everywhere than Boskus. We know that Boskus is a complete fighter. He's got great conditioning. He's got good fundamental striking, good takedown defense, and that could carry you a long way in the light heavyweight division, that combination of attributes. But it's a really tough road to hoe here. You know, flying all the way to Brazil, going to Sao Paulo, fighting a hometown favorite, a 26-year-old kid, you know, that's getting better at this point in his career. I got Petrino round 2 at plus 500 as my Lambo play. I think he gets it done inside the distance, and I think it could be round 1. I think it could be round 3, but I think it's going to sit right in the meaty part of the curve, you guys, and right, you know, between that 5 and 10 minute mark at plus 500. I think it's a good look.
Yeah, and you know what? I did play Boskus, and not because I like the guy, to be honest, because guess what? I had Zach Pauga last time out. I played Zach Pauga against him.
And he won.
But I thought Zach Pauga won.
He did win.
He got robbed, and I got robbed of my plus 200 there. But now I'm playing Boskus. It's pretty weird, but like all fights are matchups and numbers based, and you know, now I'm playing Boskus obviously because I'm getting plus 190 instead of playing him at minus 220 or whatever the fuck he was last time, right? And it's the thing that like I think Petrino's good. Don't get me wrong. I think 26 years old, young guy, very good fighter, has a lot of power, good grappling. But, you know, I also do see a lot of flaws in this guy. You know, the one thing that I seen, like, he's very hittable on the feet. Like, he gets cracked a lot on the feet. He got dropped in Dana White's Contender Series. Let's not forget that. He got dropped pretty bad by Bellato in Dana White's Contender Series. You know, Anton Turkalj was, you know, cracking this guy left and right on the feet at points in the fight. And to be honest, like, that Turkalj fight, it's kind of a bad look, to be honest. Like, I don't really consider Turkalj anywhere near a good striker. And, like, he is absolutely going off on Petrino in some parts of this fight, right? Petrino also lands bombs on him, but, you know, Turkalj seems to take them pretty good. The thing with Boskus that I kind of like and I don't like, right, in this fight, I guess I could say it both ways, is the fact that this is going to be a big cage for one, which totally works out for a guy like Boskus, because what does he like doing? Circling, kicking and punching and circling. So he needs a big cage. He gets a big cage here. I think that's a good thing for him. The other good thing for him is I do think he has very good takedown defense. And if he does get taken down, I think he has a great get-up game. He doesn't just settle. You've seen in the Tyson Pedro fight. I do think Tyson Pedro is a better grappler than fucking Petrino, in my opinion. So it's like he gets up in that fight. Obviously, Pedro tires. He's got a bad gas tank. I know that. But then the other fight that catches my eye is the McCall fight, right? McCall is a pressure fighter as well with very, very heavy hands. He literally is stalking him and throwing big shots. And that's a very, very close fight when you watch it, because Boskus is just that type of weasel, man. He is literally a weasel. If you don't get him out of there, I think if it goes 3 rounds, the fight's close. Like, it's just how he fights. He's a weasel. He manages his distance well. He kicks a lot, and he throws pretty good volume. And he has decent power. He doesn't have terrible power. Like, he's rocking a lot of these guys on the feet. So at the end of the day, it's like plus that number of plus 190, 200 range. I just think it's a little bit off. And that's why I played him, to be honest. However, my Lambo play is not Boskus. My Lambo play is Petrino KO 1-2 because I do think he's very live to knock him out early. It's plus 500 for round 1 and it's plus 950 for round 2. I just feel like he is live to knock him out. I mean, Boskus is there to be hit and he can get knocked out. And those numbers, I think those numbers, honestly, Uncle Weezy, since Lou's gone, they wouldn't be there. They would not be anywhere near that number if it wasn't for his last fight and what he did. He grappled. He got a late submission. So they're like, oh, fuck, this guy's, he's a good grappler. He's good. No, this guy's actually has a ton of power on the feet. I don't think the lines are right for KO 1-2, honestly. They should be much lower. So, yeah, I mean, plus 500, plus 950. I'm going to take a sprinkle of those, even though I have Boskus here. Because I think if Boskus wins, it's probably decision. I don't see no other way fucking Boskus wins other than decision. And, if you want to take a sprinkle at that, I mean, I don't know. It's 500. Yeah, somewhere in that range.
Dude, if Boskus knocks out Petrino, the Brazilian crowd might rush the cage and knock down the fence and maybe
a head kick.
Maybe the end of the event.
Maybe a head kick. That's the only way he knocks him out.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on here. Fight number 5. It is in the welterweight division. It is a 24-7 Zaleski dos Santos. I'm gonna say it because he didn't. I guess they took it out, but against the 22-2 Rinat Fakhretdinov. And this one goes to you, my friend, Uncle Weezy. What do you got for us?
So, I mean, I'm going with Fakhretdinov by decision here. It's one of the legs of my greasy 4-leg parlay this week. Look, this guy's wrestling is incredible, and one of the best attributes any wrestler that can have is just to never fuck off. Never, ever, ever fuck off. The guy gets back up, you're right back in on the hips. And when you combine that quality with the conditioning to push that pace for the full 15 minutes, it's just an awful opponent. Awful. Stylistically, it's the kind of guy where fighters aren't picking up the phone to call this guy. He might have to be flying to Brazil and Australia and South Africa and Japan to get fights because, if they called me up and they're like, hey, Rinat Fakhretdinov needs an opponent, I'd be like, I'm a little sick right now, a blue eye, a trick knee, whatever. I'm coming up with excuses because my career is more important to me than my pride. And, when you fight a guy like this guy Fakhretdinov, listen to these numbers, you guys, right? He's had 3 UFC fights. He's 12 of 19 on his takedowns. So he's getting his takedowns at 63%. He's got 100% takedown defense. He's controlling his opponents 89% of the 30.92 minutes that he's been in the cage. This guy, Fakhretdinov, has been on top of his opponents or had his opponents back to the cage. He's allowed 2.1% control time to his opponents. And in that, 8.9% of Rinat Fakhretdinov's fights have been standing at distance striking range. And in that 8.9%, he's got 2 knockdowns. He dropped Brian Battle in round 3. He dropped Kevin Lee in round 1. He's got big power in that overhand right. And the problem is you're so worried about his wrestling that he hits you with the overhand right and drops you. So Zaleski is one of the most well-rounded opponents that he's seen so far, right? Zaleski's almost 37 years old, though, but Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt under Cristiano Marcelo, really good striker, really, really tough level of competition over his time in the UFC. But none of that is going to make Rinat fuck off. So Rinat by decision is the way that I think that he wins this fight. I don't think he's going to finish Elizu, but I think he is going to stick to him like glue, win a ton of minutes off of control time, and just not let the dude up and win a decision here. Plus 185 on BetOnline is the best price. And I can't do anything better than that because I don't really see this happening any other way.
I am right there with you, man. I mean, good breakdown. I'm right there with you. Plus 185. Zaleski, the thing is, the difference between Zaleski and, let's say a guy like, who's that last guy he absolutely demolished?
Kevin Lee?
No, the one before. Oh, Brian Battle.
Yeah.
He absolutely demolished him on the ground. And the big difference is, like, Battle's tough, right? He gets up, he's tough, but he's kind of a zero on his back. He really doesn't have anything to offer when he's on his back. And Zaleski dos Santos is much, much better off his back. That's the difference. And he's going to be able to retain guard or hold guard, stuff like that, not allow this guy to pass. And if he does try to pass, Dos Santos might do something to try to get up or something like that. It's just that he's more of a wily veteran. He actually has very good takedown defense as well. However, I don't know if he's going to be surviving all the takedown attempts. Like, I do think he's going to get taken down. But I think he might be able to pop up, right? I don't think it's going to be that easy to control Zaleski. And he looked like he was in great, great shape on the scales, honestly. Looked like in phenomenal shape. But yeah, I mean, Renat, I think decision is pretty safe. Plus 185. It's not a great number. I thought we were going to get a better number, to be honest, just because, this guy looks like a killer, this and that, but the market is kind of on it, plus 185. Yeah. This is a used Toyota Corolla. Lou, what do you got for us?
3 for 3. I mean, you guys covered it perfectly. So I'd just like to say, instead of capping it, because I can't do better than you guys, we have Chick in the chat. She sent me hot sauce. I'm very excited to eat this after the show. Thank you to Chick. And Renat decision. I can't add anything more than what you guys said.
Yeah, I mean, Chick says Zaleski plus 3.5. I don't like playing plus 3.5 against a guy that's just gonna grapple fuck, man. Like, the 3.5, yeah, if it's like a stand-up, it's a good thing. Or if your guy is the grappler, it's a good thing. But man, against a guy that's just gonna literally grapple, I don't trust the 3.5, honestly. Like, you're gonna have to get a knockdown or the thing is, if you like 3.5, then I would rather take like Zaleski money line, because that means he's stuffing takedowns. The fight's on the feet. Why not just play Zaleski at plus 290 or whatever the fuck he is, 300? Look at this guy. But yeah, let's move on here. Fight number 5. Fight number 6. It is in the lightweight division. It is the 15-3 Elvis Brenner versus the 15-1 Kanan Krzyzewski. Very, very heated at face-offs today, man. These guys were like talking shit. Like, there's something, I don't know if there's like a background thing because they're both Brazilian, right? But man, it was fucking heated, like bad, like at face-offs. They were like talking to each other about something. And it was just back and forth. You could see they were legit, like really angry. With that being said, this fight is at 165, which is a little weird. Obviously, Kanan took this on super short notice. I know Kanan. Obviously, he's just fought in Dana White's Contender Series. I played him by submission there at like plus 800, and he hit it for me. But I think it's an issue here, like fighting Brenner on short notice. Super short notice, I should say. I don't like that for Krzyzewski. If this was a full camp and this line was out there like plus 180, I would take Kanan here, honestly, plus 180. I think it's a competitive fight. The problem is I think he's probably going to get cooked here. If he doesn't finish Brenner early, I think he's going to get cooked. And we've seen Brenner come on in a lot of fights in round 3. Like, this guy has insane fucking cardio and durability. Like, he was fucking hurt multiple times against Guram, was absolutely getting his ass beat, and he came back and finished Guram and made Guram quit in round 3. It's like, fuck, man, this guy is a typical shootbox guy, and that's where I'm going with this. Like, I think Brenner KO is too big, man. It's plus 550. Why? I don't think he's going to sub Kanan. I think Kanan is very good jiu-jitsu. I think he's a black belt, actually. I think he's going to finish him by knockout or just gas this guy out and finish him. So plus 550, I like the 2-3, honestly, a lot. I've played the 2-3. I played the 2-3 KO. It's like 3,500 on DraftKings. I'm waiting for that online to open it because I'm probably going to hit it more. I like 2-3 here, man. It's very short notice for Kanan. And if you look at him at faceoffs, look at that belly, bro. Like, this guy wasn't training.
Yeah.
He does not look like he's in fight shape at all. And in some of his fights, you can watch him like, yeah, he has late finishes, but also he's looked really gas in the Lapalus fight. So, yeah, I mean, I'm gonna take Brenner late here and the KO. What do you have here, Lou?
So I guess we're not technically on the other side of this one. I remember liking Kanan a lot when I taped it for like Contender Series because I liked Dylan Montello. I remember like that was a fight that I was excited about. And I'm not gonna like deep dive tape, but like Montello's only other loss was to Colgan, who's like kind of maybe good. Like and he
Hold
ran.
on, I gotta stop you. Maybe good.
He's good.
That guy's my favorite fucking prospect.
He's very okay. I'm saying, and Kanan, I didn't think he was gonna run through him like he did. There's a lot I like. You mentioned like the short notice, and I get it. But one thing that I'm going to say against that is, and he didn't look great on the scales either. But the fact that it's at 165, he didn't have to cut too much. Like, okay. So you think Brenner runs through him round 2, round 3, and I think that if this fight hits as it gets later, probably. So I think betting round 2, round 3 is great. You know what else is great? Kanan round 1 submission at 1,800, which really I feel like might be his win condition here. Just in general in this fight, Brenner is not the kind of guy I want to back as a favorite. I live bet him against like Tukagov, and I won the bet. I don't think he won the fight. I don't care. My bet, whatever. I won it. And then against Gurum, like, dude, I have nothing bad to say about Brenner. But I don't like Brenner at 2-1 in almost any situation. Like, I don't. Like, if you're betting Brenner here, like, I like props with him, not just the Brenner money line. But man, like, I think Kanan's explosive. He's got enough power to like threaten grappling. And like, I think Brenner's pretty tough and his chin's good. But if Kanan's going to just go for grappling and realize maybe he has a 6-7 minute tank here, just get it done in the first round. I can't ignore the plus 1,800. And I think you can play the plus 1,800 round 1 sub and Brenner round 2, round 3. And that's a good way to actually just attack the whole fight instead of playing a money line or a total. Like, I like that. But if Kanan's going to win, I think it's round 1 submission. I don't think he gets a knockout. I think he has to win on the ground. I think he has to get it done before he gasses out. So the plus 1,800 is more of a numbers play than what I believe. I really do think Brenner wears him out and wins. But I can't ignore the plus 1,800 as in terms of a prop. And I think it's realistic.
I would never play Brenner at this price. Like,
not money line. No.
Listen, guys, I played Brenner against fucking what's that Russian guy? Who?
Tukagov.
I got like plus 400 or some crazy number, 450.
Narco, he was plus 700 live after 1.
Yeah, I've had him pre-fight and I got kind of lucky, to be honest. I don't know, it was a split, but whatever. Brenner's just not a guy you want to back at minus 200, but you do want to play him if he's like a decent sized dog, because the guy is going to fight for your money. That's what I always say. If you have a big dog and he fights for your money, you have to play him. Like, this guy is not going to give up. We saw it in a Gurum fight, and someone mentioned, Gurum beats this guy 9 out of 10 times. Yeah, very possible, maybe 8 out of 10. But the one time he didn't beat him, Brenner came back and finished him, right? So somebody also mentioned like Lapalus fight was short notice, long fight defense. Well, this is even more of a short notice fight, bro. Like, this is like 2-3 day notice for this guy. Like, he's coming off the couch. And the difference between Lapalus and Brenner is Brenner's going to keep the pressure up. He's going to throw a ton of volume, and he's going to keep coming. That's not Lapalus. So, listen, I mean, it's hard to deal with Brenner on a full fight camp. It's going to be harder to deal with Brenner for 3 rounds in a fucking short 2-3 day notice. And I like Kanan. Listen, I said I would bet him here if this was a full camp. I just think it's bad in the sense that he's fighting a guy that's high pressure, high volume, that keeps coming, and he's taking a fight on like 2 days notice. He needs to finish him early. And it's possible because he hits hard and he has good grappling. But you know.
But at plus 1800 for what I think
Yeah.
is his win condition,
Yeah,
like
you
I
think
love it.
it's sub though? I think it's more likely KO.
I
One.
don't know, man. All this asparagus has me spooked off of any KOs. Like,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I kind of feel like it's KO more than sub. The only reason I played him sub last time is because I see Mantillo always fucking getting caught in submission attempts, and that's why I played the sub. And I thought Kanan is better than the guys that he was dealing with. But
his round one is plus 550, but
that's
if you know
probably
anything
the
about
way
me,
to go.
Narco, if you know anything about me, plus 1800 pays more.
Well,
So
what is KO?
I like that one.
Well, what is KO one?
KO one is 1300.
It's right there with it. And I think that happens more than sub, honestly.
All right.
But he hits hard. Kanan hits very fucking hard.
But 1800 pays more than 1300.
Yes, correct. But you can also lose at 1800 more than you'll win at 1300. Uncle Easy, what do you got for us?
You know, when I went back and I watched Brenner versus Dolidze, I had forgotten that Brenner was getting 7 shades of shit beaten out of him before he got that late finish. He lost round 1. He lost round 2 pretty dominantly. And round 3 was pretty even up until the point where Brenner landed one huge body shot. And then when he came up top and he hit Garam in the head, that was it. It reminded me of when Burgos got knocked out by Barbosa, where Garam got hit and he was like, I got to keep going. I'm winning this fight. And his body said, nah, son, we're shutting off so you live to see tomorrow. And that's what happened. And, you know, I kind of feel like Brenner's best win condition is the same type of situation because I haven't seen anything on tape from this guy in the UFC or pre-UFC to say he should be a minus 200 favorite against anybody. He's a really tough dude who's going to fight for your money. He's going to keep coming forward. He's got good submission grappling. He's your typical shoot box guy, but he's not a minute winner. He's not terribly technical, doesn't have great takedowns. He doesn't have any of that shit, but he's tough. And when you're fighting a short notice opponent like I did just the tip at 10 o'clock on Tuesday night, that this fight was just being announced, right? So now this guy's got to make weight on Friday, you know, like less than 72 hours before the fight was announced. And it's 10 pounds higher than his normal weight. But these guys, if you're a lightweight, you walk around at 190, not at 165, 170, you know? So, yeah, I think Brenner round 3 plus 900. I think that's the way to go. It was one-way traffic against Garam. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, it was one-way traffic for sure. I mean, listen,
this guy complete one-way traffic.
This guy can easily be 0-2. That's the other thing. Like, he's 2-0 in the UFC. He can easily be 0-2. Like, it's possible he lost. I had a bet on him. When I watched it over, I kind of slightly leaned to Gugov, to be honest. I slightly leaned his side.
I did too. I thought,
and now we got a guy going. Now we got a guy going from plus 500 to minus 200. I get it. There's narrative. There's short notice, but like, come on, man. Like,
I don't mind it. The other thing I kind of looked at and I almost made it a play, but I didn't just because of the late scratch. This decision prop on Kanan is huge. If you look at it, it's like 500 or something. You know, I don't know if he can win a decision just because short notice. That's the only reason I didn't play it, because I figured short notice is probably really bad for him. But I mean, there's a world where he wins a decision, honestly.
He needs like 9 minutes of top time in the first 2 rounds. Like that's the only path.
Just outstrike him for first, 10 minutes or 8 minutes, whatever. Moving on. Fight number 7. It is in the middleweight division. It is the 9-2 Adolfo Vieira versus the 8-2 Armen Petrosyan. What do you got here, Lou?
I'll keep this one short and sweet. This is the fight that's like troubled me the most all week, and I've gone back and forth about. I feel like as this fight goes on, Petrosyan's going to be able to kind of wear Vieira down. Like, I'm no fan of Chris Curtis, and Chris Curtis only boxes, but those body shots just added up on Vieira, man. And he fought through being tired, but those takedown attempts became farther and farther and farther away, man. He was shooting from 7 feet in the 3rd round. And I think with Petrosyan, he's an elite striker. He's going to throw those kicks in. Yeah, his takedown defense is not great. His get-up game is good. yes, there's a world where Vieira subs him immediately, like just takes him down and dominates him. But I don't see it. And I've been wrong on Petrosyan a lot. Like I was on Christian Leroy Duncan last fight, like an idiot.
So was
like
I.
like a terrible bet. Petrosyan just keeps he's tough. He finds ways to get up. He finds ways to land big shots. I missed the big number on Petrosyan decision. It's barely a Lambo play here, but I think Petrosyan wins 2 and 3 at a pretty high clip. One's dicey. I don't hate Vieira. I don't hate his striking, but he's also not a dude who immediately gets round 1 submissions. He kind of takes his time. He's and this is the best guy he's fought, easily. So I love Petro here, just outright. I think Petro decision, the plus 600 would have been really nice to get, but it's still what, plus 350 in some spots, 265. Oh God! All right, it's a Lambo that was driven once. It's the best I can do here, though. I feel good about it.
It's got about 3,000 miles on it.
Right.
Uncle Weezy,
so
what do you have here?
This is a great fight. I love the fight doesn't go to decision here. I think that it's a striker versus grappler matchup. I kind of feel like after the Hernandez fight, we got to see Rodolfo Vieira kind of change up his game plan and have the luxury of being able to pace himself in fights against Chris Curtis, against Brundage, and against Dustin Stoltzfus, right? I don't think he's going to be able to pace himself here. He's facing an opponent with sub 40% takedown defense. He can get this guy down whenever he wants. And if he wants to submit him, he better take him down early when they're both dry. Because I'm going to tell you what's going to happen here. If Vieira wants to take his time, Petrosyan is going to pick him apart from range. And Petrosyan throws a ton of volume. And it's not just the hands, it's the feet. This isn't Chris Curtis, who's a boxer and a counter striker at that. This isn't Dustin Stoltzfus, who really doesn't have much of a stand-up game. And this isn't Brundage, who's more of a wrestler, who did knock down. He knocked him down in the first round, landed a big right hand that dropped his ass. Look, Rodolfo doesn't have the luxury to fuck around this time. I think he's got to go out. I think he's got to try to take down Petrosyan early and get him out of there. And if he doesn't do that, I think Petrosyan's going to knock him out in the second or the third round. On FanDuel right now, you can get plus 600 for Petrosyan's second or third round KO. And I also bet a quarter unit on Petrosyan second round KO at plus 1,000 and a quarter unit on Petrosyan third round KO at plus 1,600 here. But I also think that there's a possibility Rodolfo Vieira gets an early submission in this fight because we know that he can take down Petrosyan. And if he gets him down and he starts getting to that heavy top pressure where we can set up that arm triangle, this fight could be early. So love the fight doesn't go to decision here. Love the unders for this fight. But the Lambo play is going to be Petrosyan second or third round KO plus 600.
Yeah, great breakdown. I'm on the opposite side. I think Vieira round 1, round 2 sub is good. 480, 850.
Yeah.
Listen, here's the thing. You mentioned Petrosyan, he's got good sub defense, but he doesn't have great takedown defense, and he gets taken down. And, you mentioned, Chris Curtis, fucking Chris Curtis is a motherfucker to take down. Like, this guy is hard to take down. It's just, It is what it is. And Curtis literally cooked Vieira's body in that fight. Like, he literally cooked his body. Vieira's last fight, bad look. Yeah, getting hurt by Brundage early, almost finished. It's a bad look, but Brundage does have power early. We know this. We know that he has power. He can hurt people early in fights. The thing is, like, Petrosyan, yeah, he's survived good grapplers, and Caio's a good grappler, and so is Gregory Rodriguez, but those guys are honestly not on Vieira's level when it comes to grappling. They just ain't. And the other thing is, those two guys do not attack submissions like Vieira will. Like, if Vieira gets him down, he's fucking attacking, man. He's not going to just sit there and get to your back and, do what Caio was trying to do. He's not. Every little mistake you make, he's going to probably take advantage of it and try to sub you. So I think there's a big grappling edge, man. And it's like hard for me to, when they're giving me a plus 480 sub 1 and then plus 850 sub 2, where I do think, people, does he gas? Sure, he gasses. But, man, you have to give him credit in the Curtis fight. Like, he is absolutely getting his body cooked. He still shoots, like, what was he, 0 for or 2 for like 20 or whatever? What the fuck was it? Like, I don't even think he got a takedown.
20 takedown attempts.
0 for 20, right?
Yeah.
How fucking tiring is that? Like, just in and of itself, without getting your body cooked by fucking Chris Curtis. And he was still there toward the end of the fight. So it's such a big grappling edge that I like Petrosyan and I like him as a fighter. I think he's really good. I think this is such a bad matchup. It really is a bad matchup. And Vieira does need to get this done, like, probably within 7.5 minutes. If this fight's going over the 7.5 minute mark, I'm with Uncle Weezy. I think he gets cooked.
Yeah. He doesn't have the cardio.
And the difference is, like you mentioned, like, this guy's going to be kicking you like a motherfucker and hands. It's not just one dimensional. Like, against Curtis, he was only worried about the hands, right? That's all he's worried about. He's got to be worried about every fucking thing from Petrosyan. So, I mean, sub 1-2. I do like your late round props on Petrosyan.
So can I ask you guys this? If one of you thinks that Vieira is going to dominate the first 7 minutes and then Petrosyan's going to take over, then here's my question. If you think each one wins the fight, does plus 800 for the fight to end in split would that have any appeal to you? If that round 2 is the linchpin, if you think Petrosyan wins 3 and Vieira wins 1.
The problem is I do think Petrosyan finishes, honestly. I don't think this is going to hit the scorecards if it extends. That's the only issue I have with the, fight to go to decision or split I mean, it's possible, I guess. But, like, Petrosyan is, like, his cardio is pretty damn good, man. Like, he got grapple fucked by Caio, and he was the one fucking making Caio run around the ring in round 3, right? And the Rodriguez fight was a fucking hellacious fight, man. Like, insane back and forth fight where he got wobbled, hurt, almost got submitted, was back and forth, and the guy's still there in round 3, like, throwing bombs, trying to take your head off. Like, the problem is like, Vieira, if this is happening in round 3, what does Vieira have to offer in round 3 back? And I don't think it's going to be a lot, man. I really don't. And so,
like, he subbed Dustin Stoltzfus in round 3, but Stoltzfus doesn't give you anything on the feet in rounds 1 and 2. So
no power, no real power,
exactly.
Not really a dangerous guy. So it's much different. This guy's so much better of a striker than Stoltzfus. I mean, it's not even close. But yeah, let's move on here. Fight number 8. It is in the middleweight division. It is the 14-1 Caio Bahia versus the 25-5-1 Abus Magomedov. This one's Uncle Weezy.
Yeah, I remember being at the casino with Tim and Narco Cop for Bahia versus Omar Gadziev when he made his debut in the UFC, and we were all on Caio that night. We were talking about what a smart fighter this guy is, how well-rounded he is. This guy's got it all. He seems to have the personality. He speaks beautiful English. He's got really a very unique type of striking style, that traditional martial arts bladed style, up on his toes, very karate centric, makes you pay a price for entry, doesn't get hit much, very good defensively. And then he mixes in the grappling beautifully. He's big for the division. He lies about his height. It says 5'10". The dude's 6'2" easily. And Abus is a great fighter. Abus has got great striking. He stays very long, great kicks, great wrestling, horse shit cardio. This guy's got an average fight time over a 27 fight sample size of 5.33 minutes. I mean, unless you're getting Caio out of there early, I should say, I kind of feel like this is Caio by decision. But what I really think is it's going to be Caio late. Caio looked really happy when he got that finish against Oleksiejczuk, man. He was fired up. He said, put some respect on my fucking name, he got right in the camera and did that. And now here he is fighting in Sao Paulo in front of that nasty crowd. Abus Magomedov taking this fight on fairly short notice after gassing out in 5 minutes against the pressure game of Sean Strickland. I'm I'm going with Bahia round 3 plus 1,000. I love the cardio. I love the all-around attack. I think he can maybe wrestle here and have a little bit of success. But I think if he gets the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu game going, I think he can actually shoot in for a takedown, fail, wind up on his back, and sweep this dude 10 seconds later, just like he did to Omar Gadzhiev, wind up on top, start beating the shit out of this guy. And we know Abus is going to look for a way out. He's been finished in 4 of his 5 pro losses, dude. And you know, a lot of this guy's fights have went 2 rounds. So I think Caio round 3 in front of the Sao Paulo crowd is the way to go here. Plus 1,000.
Yeah. I mean, I put a post on Twitter this week. I've been like undefeated on Caio. He's made me a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
I think I'm up like 15 units or something crazy on him.
What?
Yeah, I'm up on like 15 units alone on Caio.
For a guy who's always like a massive favorite. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
And no, actually, he's not a massive favorite early on. Even against like Gadzhiev, I don't think he
was
a
like close to a pick'em.
Yeah, it was a pick'em. And
yeah.
I hammered him in the Dana White's Contender Series both times. And I've hit his props as well. And I hammered him last time out, or whenever it was when he hit the sub. Was it last time against Mikhail?
Alexeychuk, yeah.
Yeah, I hammered the sub. And listen, Abus is dangerous early. Like, we know he's dangerous. But one thing that caught my eye, he's not bigger than Caio. They're the same fucking size at face-offs. Not one bit is he bigger than Caio. So,
and Caio's listed at 5'10", and Abus is listed at 6'2". This man lies about his height. Why do they let him get away with it?
You know what's funny is on UFC stats is 5'10", but they changed it on. I noticed they changed it on Tapology. He's 6'1" now, Caio.
Okay.
They upped him to 6'1".
He's grown. He's grown.
He's still not 6'1". I still think he's like 6'2" or 6'3". Anyways, the point is like when I watched this dude Abus, forget about Strickland fight. He gassed out, whatever. This guy, historic gasser, dude. Like, go watch the PFL fight against Umalatov in round 2. There's only a 2-round fight. 2-round fight. He's fucking death gas in round 2. There's hardly. It's not even like a high-paced fight, dude. Yeah. It's like not a high-paced fight at all. The fuck are you death gas for already? And it's like, then I watched, like, there's really no guys that grapple him. When you look at his historic, like, he's getting guys out early. He doesn't get grappled at all. And I know Caio's one of the smartest guys in the UFC when it comes to game plan. He's gonna fucking grapple this guy. Don't get it twisted. He's gonna grapple him. He's gonna make him work. And Caio doesn't have the best gas tank, but he definitely has a better gas tank than Abus. And this guy finds his way out. I think he's going to get taken down. He's going to gas him, and he's going to finish him. I think specifically, I'm going like specific one, round 2 submission for Caio Bahia, plus 850. What do you got, Lou?
I'm laughing because my prop is the round 2, round 3 submission at plus 500 on FanDuel. So, like, I have both of you covered. That's why I'm laughing. Is like, this is all I want to add to this, because everything you said, Narco, you just nailed it, and like Wheezy was passionate about it. There's this like false narrative going around that like he was beating Strickland the first round. He looked great against the current champ, and then he gassed out. Go watch that round. Strickland threw no volume. Strickland was just kind of like Peter Yanning the shit out of it. Like, he was absorbing data. He wasn't outstriking Strickland more than Strickland was like, okay. Like, just kind of doing nothing, staying out of range. Abus is the only one throwing for the first 3 minutes. Abus tired himself out. It's like playing tennis against the wall. Like, you know how you can't beat the wall? It was Abus just striking and Strickland throwing nothing back, just kind of reading him. And Abus got tired with no resistance back to him, which was crazy. Like, Narco, you just mentioned the PFL fight. Dude, that was like a low volume fight too. That wasn't like 300. Like, dude, he got tired in a low volume first round. Like, dude, I'm with you, man. I don't know if Caio has like, his cardio might be like kind of overrated, but not here. It's way better here. So give me round 2, round 3 sub plus 500 on FanDuel. Like, that's good enough for me, man. And I think Kyle might take a few minutes. Like, he doesn't have the urgency to get like a quick finish. Might take a few minutes, kind of just stay at striking range, like let a boost get tired, and then slam a takedown with 2 minutes left in the round and just abuse
his that's the thing with him. Like, he's not a great wrestler, but the fucking timing of his takedowns are so good, dude.
I haven't seen him make one bad entry yet.
No, he makes perfect entry.
Like,
every time.
That's what it is.
He kind of baits them in, and then boom, the double leg, and down they go.
Like, I don't like it's not an off-topic thing, but like there are dudes that like in Major League Baseball that aren't the fastest guys, but they're good base stealers. Like, they know when to run. I feel like Kaio is that guy. Like, he's not the greatest takedown guy, but I've yet to see him force one. It's perfect. Like, it's perfect.
He's good. I mean, he's a smart fighter. That's the thing.
He is a fight nerd.
I honestly like to bet on smart fighters, and they make you a lot of money in the long run. Here's the thing, like, you know how sometimes you're like, okay, I know the path is you got to grapple, you got to fucking grapple here. And what does the idiot do? He stands there and strikes for 15 minutes and we lose our bet.
Mm-hmm.
He's not that guy. Like, if he needs to grapple, he's going to grapple. If he needs to strike, he's going to strike.
Yeah.
He does the same homework we probably do, right? In tape study, because he said it. He said he's a nerd, this fighting nerd, and he says he fucking does a lot of tape study. And if you watch Caio Bahia on his Instagram and stuff, when he's breaking down other fights that he's not a part of, dude, he breaks them down really fucking good. He broke down the Strickland fight to a fucking T. He said Strickland's going to win, and this is how he's going to win. He's going to come forward. He's not going to stop pressuring. He's not going to give this guy the distance, and he's going to eventually wear him out. And it's exactly what the fuck happened. And he called it to a T. The guy watches a lot of tape, and he's a smart fighter. So, yeah, I mean, I like him here. I think he's going to get the submission. Hopefully it's not in round 1 and it's in round 2. But round 3, I would take it too. I think I got a stab on that too, small stab.
If it's round 1, we're all in trouble.
Moving on. Fight number 9. It is in the heavyweight division. It is the 10-1 Rodrigo Nascimento versus the 10-5 Dontel Mays. I don't even know what the fuck they're making this fight, but there's a line that kind of feels like it's off. I mean, it's heavyweight. You know, both guys hit kind of hard. They swing pretty hard. I mean, this guy's plus 650 by knockout, Nascimento, and I know he's most likely going to want to get the fight to the ground, but even on the feet, though, he swings hard, and they're heavyweights. Why is KO plus 650? Why? I don't understand. They're heavyweights. All it takes is one. Even honestly, even Mays' KO line is 450 is kind of off. Like, we've seen Nascimento get hurt. These KO lines are stupid. I get the first fight, he got taken down and subbed him, right? Pretty easily. But not two fights are the same. They're usually never the fucking same. And I just feel like, you know, KO is crazy for heavyweights being at this price, 650, 450, and they both swing. Both guys fucking swing for the fences on the feet. So I'm going to go with the Nascimento side. It's KO 650. I just feel like, anyways, and that line, by the way, it's on Bet Rivers. It's way off market too. It's like 150 points off. So yeah, plus 650 on the KO prop here on Nascimento. What do you got, Lou?
Yeah, same thing. I think exactly. I thought the line was wide for a heavyweight fight. I think Mays is going to have to be cognizant of just all the takedown attempts. His hands are going to be down. It's going to be wide open for a shot. So I have nothing more to add other than sorry, Narco, but this is also the Yambag special. Typically, we look for lefty versus righty open stances for fouls, but it doesn't check all the boxes, but it checks the one box I like the most in that it has Dontel Mays in it. So point deduction at 20-1, Nascimento KO plus 650. Double Lambo for you.
All right, double Lambo here for him. Ignore the Yambag one. We're not
don't
ignore
it.
Uncle Weezy, what do you got for us?
I got Nascimento by decision at plus 270 here. You know, look, he just does a lot more. And what I really like about Nascimento on the feet is he pressures, right? And the submission kind of came in a little bit of a scramble. He just kind of got, you know, to Dontel's back, and Dontel was sloppy. But we all know Don'Tale May is out there, injuring the legend in John Jones. He should be winning this fight, but it's in Brazil. I think it's going to be a little bit closer. So I'm going with Nascimento by decision at plus 270 here. I think Mays is okay, I guess, but I'm not betting this fight. I am not betting this fight. I hate rematches. And like Narco said, I always say the same thing. If you think it's going to go the same way the first one went, you're going to be sorely disappointed almost all the time. And now we're talking about a heavyweight fight where there's even more variance. But it is in Brazil, and I just do think Nascimento is, of course, the better fighter. He's even faster than Mays. He should be the slower guy. You look at Mays and you're like, man, this guy should have some upside. But I said that I could probably beat Don'Tale Mays in a foot race. I really do believe that. Like 100-yard dash, Wheezy against Mays, I think I beat him. And I am slow. Like, I was that guy that the coach was yelling, get the piano off your back when I was running from home to first in baseball, but this guy is he just looks like he's kind of high in there. He looks like he's stoned. He looks like he doesn't give a shit, He had Abdel Wahab like really badly hurt, just walked backwards into the center of the cage and let him recover. I don't know, man. I think it's Nascimento, but I don't think he finishes him this time.
So you mean his fight IQ is not very good? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I don't think his IQ is great. We could just drop fight, and I think that there's probably a very low IQ there, but fight IQ also low. Yes.
All right. Let's move on here. It's the co-main event. It's 2023, and we have Nicholas Dalby in the co-main event at the ripe age of almost 39 years old, actually. He's going to turn 39 very soon. But we're here for it. It's the 15-0 Gabriel Bonfim versus the 22-4-1 Nicholas Dalby. Lou Betcha, this one's yours.
So I have a bet on this fight to get out of the first round, and it's going to be like the worst 5 minutes of my life. And I already know it, but I like the price at minus 135. But all that being said, I do think Bonfim eventually submits Dalby. I know Dalby's tough. I know Dalby could vet less than him in a lot of ways. But you look at the guys that Dalby's fought, like Worley Alves, and he faces dudes that traditionally gas, and he just kind of attritionally takes over in the second and third round. It's not like super impressive, like the Salikov. Like it's like attritional. Like he's not like landing tons of shots and like oohs and ahs. Like he's just getting people against the cage. He's getting wrist control. He's kind of getting control, and that's not an option here, man. So Bonfim 2-3 sub going right back to the well. It's plus 550. I do think Bonfim subs him at some point. And I think the KO is live too. If you like the KO, I get it. But realistically, I think it just goes to the grappling realm. I don't know that Dalby's going to be able to get up from Bonfim having great top control, having great, just everything is going to be hunting. I think eventually just gives him his neck very easily because he's sick and tired of being on his back. So it could happen in one. That's where I lose this bet. But I just feel like eventually it happens. Maybe there's a feeling out period. That's why I like 2-3.
All right. Uncle Wheezy, what do you got for us? 130 of you in here. Thank you very much. Hit the like, subscribe before Uncle Wheezy gives you this one.
So Gabriel Bonfim is just an absolute stud. 15-0. He's finished all 15 of his wins. If the guy's ever went for a submission in a fight, he's finished that submission. I mean, it's hard to pick against him here. And in Dalby, you got a guy who's literally never been finished. 26, 27, 29 fights, 2 no contests, a draw, 4 losses, 22 wins. Dude's never been finished. If you guys have never seen the Nicholas Dalby versus Ross Houston fight in Cage Warriors, each one of these guys lost about 2 pints of blood in the cage. And there was so much blood in the cage that sometime at the beginning of the third round, neither guy could plant their feet and throw. Like whenever somebody would throw a punch, they would literally fall off their feet because the entire canvas was covered with blood. And if Mark Goddard hadn't have said this is ridiculous and stopped the fight in the third round, Dalby was about to finish this dude. and he had a cut like that went from here to here on his forehead. The other guy had a cut that had like almost severed his cheek. And these guys were just going at it. I'm going to go with the durability of Danish Dynamite, Nicholas Dalby, to survive the first round here. And I think if he gets out of the first, you guys, I think this fight's going the distance. And I think even if Dalby wins all 3 rounds, Gabriel Bonfim gets the decision because he's undefeated and it's in Brazil. So Gabriel Bonfim by decision plus 360. Plus 360. Let's, because I've told stories about the durability of my Danish ancestors. I am 25% Danish. I've got some great stories about the Danish side of my family and how stupid tough these dudes were. You look at guys like Mark Madsen and Dalby, the ridiculous durability. They've been through a lot. They're very stoic, very tough dudes. And I'm going to go with the Danish durability of Dalby to last 15 minutes with Bonfim here. Might look like a complete moron, but plus 360 by decision is the play.
Yeah, I don't blame you. The guy is durable. In my book, he's been finished, obviously, by Ronson, but he got dropped and finished there, but they overturned it because Ronson was on some good stuff. But
goofballs.
Yeah, but here's the thing with this fight. It's like it's first of all, we know what the UFC is trying to do here. No one's stupid here. We got the 39-year-old Nicholas Dalby, veteran mid guy, right, for most of his career, fighting a young gun that's 15-0 in Brazil in the co-main event. They're trying to make probably a highlight reel, honestly, of Nicholas Dalby. Now, that doesn't always work. It doesn't mean shit, that's just what the UFC probably wants. The issue I have with Dalby, and I think this is very fucking important, honestly. Now, we're going to go back and we're going to look who this guy has been facing in the UFC. Alex Oliveira, complete fucking done. Jesse Ronson, who finished him. And Jesse Ronson is not young at all as well. He was 35, 36, 37 years old. Daniel Rodriguez, who we know now is on his way out. I don't even know what the fuck's going on with him. Tim Means, another old guy, but he lost to him. Then you look at Claudio Silva, Worley Alves, Muslim South, all old fucking fighters, man. There's not one young fighter in his 20s that this guy has fought. None. They're all old.
Worley's 30. Worley's only 30.
Yeah, Worley.
You're right. He's fighting all older gentlemen. There's no question about that.
Honestly, Worley Alves is probably towards even though he's 32, he's probably toward the tail end of his career too. It just is what it is. And now he's fighting a young gun, an up and comer. This is the first time in the UFC that he's actually fought someone like this. And when you look at the fighters that he's faced as well, how many of those guys are actually killers? I wouldn't say any of them, honestly. Which one of those guys is a killer that can, is a guy that's very, very dangerous in the cage? Maybe Worley Alves in one round, but that's it. The rest of the guys are not killed. Tim Means, yeah, he's a good fighter, but he's not really at this point in his career. He's not really a finisher. This fucking guy is a finisher. This Gabriel Bonfim guy, and I think that's the problem. I think we look at it historically in the UFC. He's very durable. He's tough, and all those things are correct. But he's also not facing guys that are that dangerous. And this guy does fit that mold of being a very, very dangerous fighter, whether it be in the stand-up, whether it be in the grappling. So I'm going to go with KO 1-2 here. KO 2 is crazy. 1,600. This guy has a lot of power on the feet, guys. I know he gets a lot of subs, but he also has a fucking ton of power on the feet, and he's very, very dangerous. And we did see Jesse Ronson drop Dalby pretty fucking bad before the choke out. And he could have honestly probably just landed ground and pound and finished that fight, but instead he went for a choke. I don't know. Round 1 is 475. Round 2 is 1,600. And the other thing to look at is when you look at Dalby, who's never been finished, yet they have the under 1.5 at -130. It's kind of insane to me. Guy's in a UFC veteran that's really never been finished. And now he's under 1.5, is minus 132 against this young gun. It's like, what the fuck do they know that all of us don't know? So, yeah, I mean, 1-2 for me, 475, 1600. I like the Bonfim KO kind of here instead of the submission. Moving on to the main event of the night. And before I give you the main event of the night, please, 126 of you, shout out to all you guys in chat. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for being here. Hit the like and subscribe. Hit the notification button so you can get all my videos here on my YouTube channel. And with that being said, it is in the heavyweight division. It is the main event of the night. It is the 19-2 Jailton Almeida versus the 27-11 Derek Lewis and Uncle Wheezy. This one is yours, my friend.
Yeah, so it's going to be hard to find a Lambo playing on Jailton Almeida unless you're going with like 4th round knockout, right? I mean, because this guy's going to win this fight probably 8 out of 10 times. The bookies agree, but the Lambo play is the most obvious play on the card. It's Derek Lewis KO. He's done it 22 times. 22. He could run. He could sprint right when the referee says fight. Run at this guy, land a jump knee to the chin, and it's over. Is it going to happen? No, probably not. But are you getting 950 on any line on Jailton Almeida? Dude, the fight doesn't go to decision as minus 10,000. Minus 10,000 on DraftKings Sportsbook. How the hell are we supposed to make money on this fight unless we're taking that Derek Lewis side? So, yeah, I mean, I'm picking Almeida. You could do like a 4-leg parlay right now on DraftKings. Jailton Almeida to win, him to land one more takedown, him to finish in round 1 by submission, and I think you get plus 130. So let's just say Lewis round 1 KO plus 950. Put a little bit of couch cushion money on it, and if it doesn't happen, you'll forget you even lost the money because it's not something that you're going to remember.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this: like, there's one book out there leaving pretty damn good price on round 1 sub. I mean, compared to the market, if you have it, I recommend you go bet it because I think it's way off from the market. It's Almeida sub 1 is plus 200 on Bet Rivers. So if you have Bet Rivers,
whoa,
that's way off the market. I think it's a good bet if you guys want it. And then sub 2. I mean, I would hit both sub 1 and sub 2 just in case. But I think he's live to finish him in round 2. Why can't he finish in round 2 and not round, let's just say he survives round 1.
Shamil survived round 1.
Yeah, and round 2, and round 2 submission, believe it or not, is plus 1,000. So it goes up by 800 points in round 2. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at Jailton 1-2. I know 1 is plus 200, but again, plus 200 is way off the market. And, I was looking at KO. I'm like, well, why can't he KO him if he can sub him? Obviously, he's in dominant position. But, like, when you watch Jailton, it's just he always fucking goes for submissions. He's so annoying. He's constantly fishing for subs. And a guy like Lewis is a guy you probably want to bet KO against because he kind of gives up in certain spots. Like we've seen it. And Lou Betcha's over there like fucking covering his mouth like he's going to give us something crazy. So I'm going to let him go with it here. Go ahead, Lou. Mine is sub 1-2. What do you got?
I don't have anything crazy. I'm laughing because this price is so terrible, and I was hoping it moved, and I know it wouldn't. Look, Almeida round 1 is like my bet. Fight to end in the first minute. I'm laughing because it's only plus 350. This is a joke. The only other time I looked at a prop like this was Jordan Wright against Bruno Silva. I think it was plus 450, and I'm like, I need more than that for like a 60-second fight. But like, the show is about like wide props that can happen. If Derek Lewis decides the only way for him to win this fight is to do it in DeLima, to just bull rush him off the bat, I think this fight ends in 60 seconds. One way or the other, I think this fight ends immediately. If he bull rushes and misses and Almeida spikes him on the ground and pounds him, Look, Lewis just got like a huge contract after the Dolidze win. This is not to sound like an asshole about this. This is a payday for him. Yep. He's not sniffing the title. He's just getting paid to be in main events and be a name. Him winning this fight, like, I don't know him personally. Him winning this fight is not of the utmost importance for a path to the title. If he goes in there and gets taken out immediately, who's to say he doesn't tap immediately to strikes? So I wish I had a better price, but plus 350 for a fight with these two guys, I'll take a shot at it.
Yeah. I mean,
I love the idea of the round 2, but come on. This fight's not going more than 5 minutes.
I get it. Lewis, I mean, what do we have to say about him? Like last time, like it was so weird. Like he fucking lands a flying knee within 30 seconds. Like, I don't know. Is that replicable? I don't think so. Like, it's just, I don't know. The only thing that I can say is that's very important is that Lewis did knock out a previous grappler that shot on him, and he ate an absolute uppercut in Blades. So he does throw the uppercut. It might be a little live here, but yeah, I mean, Lewis has 50 pounds on him. Who cares? Like Almeida's taken down everybody. So I mean, all those guys have 50 pounds. But yeah, they all have 50 pounds on him. That's whatever. He can get him down. Don't twist that whatsoever. Like, and I don't think it's 50 pounds. Isn't Lewis like 264 or something? This guy's like 232 or whatever. It's like 30 pounds. Maybe Lewis cuts, I don't know, 20 pounds. Who knows? But yeah, it's probably 30, 40 pounds. But still, I mean, Almeida's going to get him down. If he doesn't get knocked out, he's getting him down. I'm almost certain. And, Lewis doesn't have the best balance. Like, if he single legs Lewis, I think he can get him down easy. Single leg, just turn Lewis.
Derek Lewis has 52% takedown defense on 86 attempts against. So it's not like, he's just 50% on 8 attempts. 86 attempts, 41 of them have been successful.
I mean, watch a Spivak fight. I mean, if Spivak can do that to you, like, what the fuck? Yeah. Like, I understand Spivak's a good grappler, but he's not probably a better grappler than fucking Almeida is. And the difference between them is, like, if Almeida's on top of you, are you fucked? Like, he's advancing position really good. And yeah, I mean, sub 1-2 for me, but yeah, that wraps it up. All 11 fights, guys. We've come down to the end. It is the Lambo parlays. Last week, 107-1 given out by Lucrative, James. This week, yet to be seen. We'll start off with my man. What do you got for us?
Is that me? You boned out for a second. Is that me?
That is definitely you.
Okay. Well, I can't, 107 is really nice. So let's try double that. Let's try plus 22,000 odds. Two leg parlay. That's it. Cal Fernandez sub 1, Kanan sub 1. Plus 22,000 odds. Talked about Kanan earlier in the show. I think round 1's his win condition. I like going to the ground for Brenner. And it's same with Fernandez. I feel like he's round 1 or he's going to get taken down and grapple effed the whole fight. So both guys to win in round 1 combined is plus 22,000 odds. For a 2-leg parlay, I don't think that's horrible.
All right. 2-legger, 200-1. Uncle Weezy, can you top that?
No, I can't. But I can give you a 4-legger. See, I do a greasy 4-legger on my channel every week. Greasy 4-legger came out to plus 550 this week. It's not nearly good enough for this channel. So we're going to take the fattest line of the greasy 4-legger, which is Rinat Fakhretdinov by decision at plus 175. We're going to parlay that on FanDuel with Petrosyan round 2-3 KO at plus 600. With Caio Bahia inside the distance, plus 105. With Vitor Petrino inside the distance, plus 105, comes out to plus 7,989. $100 wins you $7,989.
Very, very nice. I like it, Uncle Weezy. And I'm going to give you guys two of them because I have two of them. The first one, it's just Kaio round 2 submission and Mora KO 2-3 at 71-1, right? Then the other one is the one I really like, all right? This one's Kaio submission 2-3, Vieira submission 1-2, and Jalton submission 1-2, and you get 42-1 there. I really like that one, man. I think that one is very live, very, very live. I mean, all three guys are very good submission guys. All three guys are Brazilian, and all three guys have a big, big grappling edge in their fights. So 42-1 there. I think it's a good look. I'm going to be playing both of your guys' parlays. I wrote them down. Appreciate both of you guys for being here. Late notice. Thank you very, very much. 127 of you in, still in here. Appreciate all you guys, because without you guys, no Lambo shows. So, Lou, I'll give the floor to you. You have some stuff going on. You have 15 shows a week. You're fucking working 55 hours. You are, I don't know what else you're doing, but you're doing a lot of things. So let the people know where they can find you and what you have.
I'll be at the Parsippany Laugh Shack next Friday and Saturday doing some dinner theater comedy. No, I'm on Twitter doing some shows. I'm actually dialing it down a little bit, doing some NFL stuff, doing MMA. Just follow me on Twitter, and my favorite show to be on. So thank you, Mike, for having me on. Always appreciate it. Wheezy, it's always a pleasure to deal with. I will break him on air one day. It will happen. Maybe during Parsons fight week. We'll see.
It's never going to happen.
It's going to
Never.
happen. It's
No.
going to happen.
You can't break the unbreakable, my friend. And
Uncle Weezy.
yeah, you can find me Uncle Weezy's YouTube channel every Tuesday night, 10 o'clock Central Time, for Just a Tip with Uncle Weezy full card breakdown. Every Wednesday night for Ask Weezy, where you can just ask me questions in the chat. Every Friday for a greasy 4-leg parlay. You can find me 3 times a week on Pub Sports Radio. Saturdays for the watch along, Sundays for Stat Diggers with my man DFS by the Numbers, Wednesday for the DFS show with DFS by the Numbers, Gordo Gambles, Monk Maddox, MMA Engine YouTube channel, all over the place. Let's go, you guys. Let's stack cash tickets like flapjacks for UFC Sao Paulo.
All right, guys. Hit both these guys a follow. Subscribe to their YouTube channel. You can find me at NarcoCop on Twitter. You know where my YouTube channel is because you're here. And also, guys, live spaces tomorrow for the fight card, UFC Sao Paulo. And one last thing, let's fucking cash those tickets.